Understood. Would you like an opener this evening?
Yep.
All
Yep.
right,
Back to questions.
we'll go straight to it. Jada, why don't you lead off for us?
Thanks. Brian, this is the second last from the Club World Cup. Do you feel that the team has taken a step back at all, from that bite that you guys had earlier before the break and after the Leagues Cup?
If you only lose two out of whatever it is, 16 games, I believe, something like that, 16, 17. If you only lose two, that's pretty good, Jada. So, look, this was going to be a hard place to play, even with what happened, a couple of weeks ago up at our place. They were obviously up for the game, but at the end of the day, still proud of the team. They've, competed. They didn't quit. They got a goal in the second half, had some half looks, half chances. So, no, I don't think it's a step back. I just think this was going to be a tough game, as soon as we saw it on the schedule earlier this year.
All right, next question will go over to Jeremiah.
Yeah, you made a few changes in this game. What did you though think of the players who were playing on a short rest? Were you satisfied? You pulled some of them early. I assume that was somewhat planned, but what did you make of the performance of the guys who were playing on short rest, I guess?
Who in particular?
I mean, Christian in particular looked like he was a little off from his normal level.
Anybody else?
I mean, Yamar didn't look necessarily great either. I mean, there was a few guys who in the first half it looked like some guys were looking a little slow and not up to their normal play.
Well, because of the dropping of a couple of points against the Galaxy, we need to take a little bit of a calculated risk and kind of mix the group maybe a little bit differently than I would have. Uh, Look, Christian, everybody's going to say, some tough giveaways, and certainly the first goal came from, Christian. But again, this is a team sport, and we weren't in our structure. Knew who's too wide. We didn't have anybody really in the right pocket. We were kind of saying, well, at some point, this one's going to be here and higher up the field. Another guy's going to rotate in there. So I think I can own some of that, as far as the overall tactics and getting the guys in the right spots to try and get some more possession. That's what we needed in the first half. But look, I'm not going to shy away from it. Christian, wasn't his best match. So tried to get him off. There were some again calculated 45-45s. Yaimar and Jackson, Christian and his brother, but I elected to keep Christian in at 2-0 just for a few more minutes to see if we couldn't get the next goal. So lots of things go into that planning, Jeremiah. And then, the game dictates what you're going to do with some of those substitutions as well.
All right, George, over to you next.
Coach, a lot is talked about in MLS about playing turfers versus grass. It seemed from the TV that the playing surface was not that good. What was your take on it?
It was fine. It's Bermuda grass, but it rained heavily in the afternoon. I mean, it looks like that. Guys, it's different for us. Just like, Miami lost two games, their last two games on turf. I'm sure what you're used to. It takes a little bit to adjust and adapt, but the playing surface was fine.
All right, Jada, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah. Well, first, Obed had said to, I guess, maybe talk to you as far as when he's gonna leave for the U23s. Is there something that you can share there?
Well, the official list hasn't come out from the Mexican Federation, so I can't comment on that until it's out there officially. So
If he were, well, okay, fine. I'll leave that at that. And then also, like you said, with the different, how much do you factor in though the different ways the lineup had to change and what you were able to or weren't able to accomplish today? Like how much of
Well,
a factor?
I just think in the first half we were a little too rushed. You know, we had two high energy guys on the right hand side in Paul and Kalani. We had a guy Georgie who loves to run at people, and then Saze earned this chance to see again against a good opponent to see if he could come back with another good performance. But they're all young and they need a little bit more seasoning. And in some of those moments when we needed to be calmer with the ball, extend our possessions a little bit more in that first half, take some of the sting out of the game. It just didn't manifest itself like that. So, when we were able to get a hold of the game, obviously the score line dictated, them sitting back a little bit and us having more possession of the ball. But, that's the type of game you have to play against Miami. And we weren't able to accomplish that in the first half.
And did you see any spillover or anything like that from the brawl or the way the things ended in Miami? Was that a topic or at all or broached at all from them?
No. I think I said this interiorly. I don't know if I said it exteriorly, but Jorge Mas came from down the sideline to personally congratulate me because he didn't see me after the game. Class individual, class act. Javier Mascherano, we had pleasant words before and after the game. That's all done and dusted. I think that was just one moment. And, the first tackle that DePaul put on Obed, that was the message that they were sending. But Obed played through it. And you saw Obed, he's such a talented kid. He was running past some of their players. So, they tried to send the message, but Obed didn't take the bait.
All right, Felipe, over to you, please.
Thank you, Alex. Coach Brian, how can you assess the performance of Kalani Koscielny in today's game?
He was okay in moments. I mean, look, he's got again a ton of energy. He scored some big goals for us, but in these bigger games, his experience level and thinking he needs to, do a little bit better there. But overall, he, did the best he could and, never quit, never gave up. So he was fine.
All right, Jeremiah, did you have a follow-up still?
Yeah. How would you assess Steph's performance in this game?
It's fine. I mean, he made some saves. He kept us in it because it could have been 5 or 6. But the goals that we gave up, Jeremiah, they're tough. I mean, that first ball that Christian gives away is 35 yards from goal, and Alba's coming in one-on-one. The next goal to give away out by the touchline, and Messi's in at the back post. I can't fault him for that. And then look, the corner kick, we're down a guy. I mean, Kim Ki-hee was off the field. And normally Kim Ki-hee and Jackson, they're in those spots. And so we were short there. So, it was a little bit of a rough game for the entire squad. But Steph came out and made some saves. And, look, even the angle he took for Alba's first goal, he had the proper angle and the ball hit his foot, but it just went in. Sometimes goalkeepers are going to make that foot save.
All right, George, why don't you have the last one?
Coach, looking at the next game, can you share with us where you're thinking about in terms of lineup? Are you going to rotate? Are you going to go back to your normal starting 11?
There's no normal starting 11 right now. We're going to put the best team out there possible to beat Austin. And I have a very deep squad. I'm very happy with the team. We will come back. It's a little bit of adversity. But we're going to come back and have a strong performance against Austin. And then hopefully finish the year out with some good performances getting ready for the playoffs.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. I'll let you go. Safe travels home. Media, thank you.